out everybody and no one can whoop him. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Chris coming at you with another episode to the Beautiful Struggle podcast. And today, I have a very special guest.
Oh my
gosh. The first returning guest that I've had on, I'm having my wife, Morgan Michelle, on.
Yes, hello.
Hey. Okay, so, I just wanted to bring her on today and just talk about a couple things she's been asking to come on again. And her episode actually was or is the second most listened to and most downloaded episode. The first is the one with my grandfather Julius. We've been having a lot going on in our life lately.
Man.
One of the things is, we won't tell you everything, but one of the things is we just moved into our new apartment, so we're just now getting settled in.
Yes.
Yeah, so just now getting settled in, and I guess this week was like the first week that we really got back to like having fun.
Yeah, we honestly haven't had. Well, we always have fun, but we haven't gone out in a while, and had things to do and really spend quality time together.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. We have a lot of fun every single day, but like she said, we haven't really been out like that. So it's crazy because today. We're recording this on Sunday. We just went to Kanye's Sunday service.
Yeah, we did.
His concert. How'd you feel about that?
I really liked it. Mm-hmm. It was definitely a really good experience. I do have to say that it's if you're one of the naysayers about the Sunday service, I definitely would say try to go to one, because I even had my reservations about it. I was like, why are people going to this thing? It's not really church service. Why are what's the big deal about it? I understand it's Kanye West, and is this really for a publicity stunt? Is he
marketing
just
thing or
exactly?
Like because just to give you guys a backstory, he just released an album called Jesus is King, and he says it's a gospel album. Pure gospel album. And I mean, everybody has their own opinion about it, but yeah, you can go ahead and continue. What were you saying?
Yeah, but I definitely say that if you're a naysayer, go ahead and try to go to one, because it's actually a really dope experience. I kind of went in with my own reservations. We are very much churchgoers. We go every Sunday. We try to even go on Wednesdays. So I was just no, I'm not going to be swindled into this. But it was actually very eye-opening, because even in the mix of pure gospel music, it's a gospel concert. To me, it wasn't a church service, because I know what a church service is. I mean, it could be different for anybody. Excuse me, me and you can have a different experience of what church can be, but it wasn't what I normally go to church for. So to me, it was just a gospel concert. That's what I went into it as, and I was able to thoroughly enjoy it as going in with that. Because if I would have gone in this is a church service, I would have been very underwhelmed. But even there was a little sermon part. They had a pastor come out and give a word on John 3:16, the easiest thing for people to who don't know, to digest and understand why we are Christians and what it is to have a relationship with God. So that was something that really took me back, because I mean, we all see the Instagram clips and the Twitter, the tweets and stuff like that, but I was not ready for an actual pastor to come out and speak. And even throughout the whole experience of the concert, the main guy that was doing everything, he was preaching in between. He was saying we're all saved on this stage. We all were X somethings, which our pastor always preaches about. People are X convicts, like, you know, like
Drug
goes,
addicts,
goes
alcoholics, yeah.
down the line. So it was like very eye-opening. I love gospel music. That's what I was brought up on. I remember vividly being in the car with my dad and like us just listening to gospel music. That was like it. And so it just like took me back, and I was telling Chris that they played a song that we did in like Bible school. So like Bible school is like when you're younger. And so we would go, and I can't sing, so I'm not going to sing, but it's like like higher. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard that song in forever. And to hear mostly people of color who look like us sing, it just brought like a different vibe to it. Because when they're walking out, you mostly see black people, and it's just like, okay, like I already know like this is really like gospel music, because not saying like nobody else can do it, but that's like the roots of it all.
That's the roots. That's where it came from. Yeah, I totally agree with you. A lot of people critique him about like this is not a gospel album, this isn't gospel music. But then again, what is gospel music? What is church?
Right.
You know, it's like you said, everybody has their own experience, and when it comes to music is an art. So you make it what it is, you know. So I definitely agree with you when it comes to the album. It wasn't the gospel music that we're used to.
Exactly.
But the concert, I will say, I thought it was really good. Really good. And he's just so creative, and that's a huge risky move that he pulled off. And it's crazy because you and I were damn near dancing the whole time.
And that's the thing. Like, I love to dance. If anybody knows me, like, music comes on, I love to dance. And I feel like if I can dance at a party, like, why can't I dance, like, in church? Like, why can't I dance to gospel music? I was literally dancing, having, like, a really good time, like, as if, like, I was at a party.
I will say, how do I say this? Some of the people that are not as cultured.
Yes, we'll say that. Cultured, yes.
Not as cultured as us. They're just kind of sitting back, and maybe they're getting a little bored, which is totally understandable, because when you talk about Christian music and gospel music,
two different things.
It's the same genre, so to say, but it's different subcategories, you know?
Oh, most definitely, because Christian music is like what we usually hear at. Well, our church does both, because we go to a cultured church.
Multicultural culture.
Yes. So gospel is like more soulful, and Christian music is just, I don't want to say not as soulful, but it's very like,
it's unseasoned.
Yeah, we can put it that way. It's very, if you guys know any like Christian music, it's very oceans.
Yeah,
like
okay, good.
That's how I can put it. Like, it's very oceans. However, when you get into gospel, like if you hear like Marvin Sapp, Never Would Have Made It, like you're just like on the floor running, like the Holy Ghost is right there with you. Not saying that Christian music isn't like that, but it speaks different to people who are cultured like us, who are people of color, because it goes down to a different type of like feeling, and it's just like rooted.
Yeah. So what would you rate the concert? I would say I'd give it a solid like 8 or 9 out of 10. Like, it was good.
It was really good. And guys, the funny thing is, our first like major going out together, like being kind of like an item, was a Kanye concert at the Forum. We literally like went back. We didn't have the same exact seats, but we went back to that venue as a married couple, seeing the same person. It was just crazy. And just how we have changed through times, he's changed through times too. Yeah. Because our first concert was Kanye's, what was it?
The Life of Pablo.
Yes. So we all know, like, at that time, he was like losing his mind. Like, we were one of the second to last concert before he canceled the whole tour. And it's crazy to see like how he went through a change and how we definitely like went through a change too.
Yeah, it's definitely a beautiful thing that he came around and he's doing these concerts. Hopefully he goes around the United States and does it, and more people open up to like and start questioning what is Christianity, who is Jesus, and like maybe they start exploring themselves. Yeah, that could open a lot of doors.
Funny thing is, this girl that I went to college with, and she goes to my old church. She took a picture of a prayer request, but it's like one of those like praise reports. So it was like, oh, my son came to church because of Kanye's new album.
Wow.
So as much as we're like, Kanye, like, why, like, he's like doing all this just for like naysay and like, oh, like, just to like gain publicity, it's like actually touching people, and I can't be mad at that. Like, if you're touching people and bringing them to Christ, like, how can I be mad? Like, I can't be mad about that. Just like how some people aren't a fan of his wife, but his wife helps our people
and support
get out of jail when they like don't when they're not supposed to be there. So I can't be mad at that.
Yeah, I thought this was like such a side note, but I thought it was beautiful that I think, was it Chicago on stage?
No, North.
North was, but there was another kid on stage.
And the Chicago's little. The
I
other
don't
girl,
know.
it's like her little friend, North's friend.
Okay, but I thought it was so like cute that he had his daughter like so involved, and just like, even though she was just running around, but she was experiencing everything and soaking everything up, and that's gonna have a huge impact on her for sure.
Yeah, and that just like, when I seen that, it made me think of you, because our like goal in life is to have financial freedom at a very young age.
Hold on.
Am I getting ahead of myself? Okay,
So you already going there, so let's talk about it. So no, that's literally one of the things I wanted to talk about. That's crazy. So I guess the topic for today is, I wanted to talk about being in a relationship with an entrepreneur.
Okay.
So a lot of people may look at it and be like, it's like so glorious and it's amazing, and people think what they want to think. And nowadays, entrepreneurship is such a cool thing that everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Everybody wants to have entrepreneurship in their bio. But what they don't realize is the work and the sacrifice and the blood, sweat, and tears that comes with it. So I just want you to tell the people, how you feel about it. You just go in,
Okay, so like most of you guys know, I met Chris when I was 19 years old and he was 21. You right? 21, 22?
21, 22, yeah.
Okay, so my dad is an entrepreneur. He has his own business. So I was used to it, but in a sense, like, being in a relationship with someone, it's like totally different, because we went through phases of, well, I just want to focus on my business and that's all. And I'm just like, oh, okay, like, where does that leave me? And we were both young, and he would be like, well, it leaves you wherever you want to be left at, basically. Like, if you still want to be around, you can be around, and if you don't, like, you can go ahead and leave, and I won't hold anything against you.
I didn't want it to sound that harsh, but it's just.
But
like,
in reality, it is. It's like, it's
it
very black and white. Like,
sure.
If you're dating an entrepreneur, you have to realize that sometimes you're not going to be first. Especially when you're dating an entrepreneur, you're not going to be first. Because they have, like, well, Chris, he's very strong-minded. He's, like, determined beyond belief. So once he's fixated on something and wants it, it's like nothing can get in his way. And he was so used to being by himself in the relation, like, before our relationship, he, like, it took him time to realize, like, it's okay to have both, like, me and your business. Like, he was having, like, a hard time trying to get the two to, like, align together, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I totally agree. And it was a balance I was trying to figure out. And, I mean, I always say to people, when you're in a relationship with an entrepreneur, your significant other needs to either be in the game with you, or they need to be on the sideline cheering for you. And if they're not doing one or the other, then they're just, honestly, they're holding you back and they're wasting their time.
Yeah.
So when I mean, literally what I mean when they're in the game with you, like out there in the field running a business together, or on the sideline, what Morgan does phenomenal at is she supports me 1,000% at whatever I do. That's what she does very well. And I think in a relationship, if you're an entrepreneur listening to this, that's something that you need to look for in your significant other.
And I just want to say, like, give them that option to do either or.
Yes.
Because for us, like, I was not trying to get into business with him. Like, it was not my thing. Like, was like, no, I'm good. Like, you know, you can do your thing. You can run your business. You can quit your job and do your business full time. Cool. Like, I will support you and have your back, but I don't want to be in business with you. And it wasn't anything like rude about it. It was just like where I was in life, and like I just wanted to still live my life and wanted to work my job, and I was still in school. So I still had like my own life to live, and I didn't want to give it up to run a business with a guy that I was dating. So I just chose the position to be the cheerleader.
Yeah.
And with that comes great responsibility as well, because if you guys know, entrepreneurs go through a lot of lows.
Yes. We go through more lows than highs, put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. So there would be times where I'm just like, I would have a rough day, he would have a rough day, and I'm like, all right, I need to suck it up, because I know like this is his baby. Like basically this business is his baby, and he feels like, you know, like everything is just like nothing's going right basically. Mm-hmm. So I had to put away my feelings for the day and just be like, you know what, like you can do this, because it's going to take some coaching from the sideline to be like, all right, you know what, you had your little off day, but it's time to get back in the game and like go at it full force.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I don't want the listeners to feel bad for us or feel pity for us.
No.
It's just literally part of the process. And if you are an entrepreneur, you know how it is. A lot of my friends that are entrepreneurs, they're not in a relationship, and that's not no disrespect or anything, but it's just a hard balance. And even now, I'm like, okay, you know what? I need to balance the relationship and business, so I won't work as much to spend more time with you. Like, I'll do that any time of the day. Like when you come home, that's basically when I turn it off.
Right. Very true.
Yeah.
But yeah, because that honestly, that's how our relationship works right now. Chris is full on into being an entrepreneur right now, and I go to work. So I leave home around 6 o'clock, and I don't get back until 6:30, 6:40. So that gives him a good 12-hour day, and he uses that to the best of his ability, because when I get up, usually he'll get up too, or when I'm about to leave, he'll get up. So that gives him a full 12-hour day to do his business. So by the time that I get back, like it's our time. Like we'll have dinner together, we'll wind down, and then call it a night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's big time. And, you know, I've gotten to a point where, I don't know if you know this or not, but I don't even like the title of entrepreneurship right now. Because, like I said earlier, so many people think it's cool, and I don't know what they think, honestly. They think that we all just drive Lamborghinis.
Literally.
But for me, it's not the pursuit of it's not me trying to go after the entrepreneurship title. It's me pursuing the freedom it creates. That's what eventually we're both chasing. That's what I'm chasing, is the freedom part.
Right, which is where I was going before I hopped into everything. But yes, we are on our journey of financial freedom. So I have a part to play in it, and he has a part to play in it. Our parts are very different. My part is obviously going to work all day, and his part is literally grinding and hustling and doing his thing to help us get closer to that goal. Because like how I was saying, when I seen North up on stage with Kanye, I was just like, that's what we want. Like every time we go somewhere and it's like mostly adults, and then we see like a father and his kid, I'm always like, oh my gosh, Chris, that's gonna be you. Because like we want to be that couple that like brings their kid everywhere, and not in like a weird way, not because like we're so attached to our kids that like we like have to bring them everywhere, but it's because we have financial freedom and we can bring them wherever we want to go. Like if he has a business meeting, let's say in New York, like it won't be an issue for both me and my kid to go with him, because we have that financial freedom to go ahead and like go with dad to whatever business meeting he wants. And even we always say, like, if he wants to take the kid and they go somewhere to a different state while they have their meeting, and I stay home and do something else, by all means, like that's what financial freedom is to us, like being able to take our family wherever we want to go, when we want to go.
Yeah, no, I agree, and we're so all about the family. It's in addition to like the whole financial freedom tip, but it's also showing our kids like how life can be.
Exactly.
So it's like that's a whole nother like deep discussion you can get into. But like I was saying earlier, Northwest, she's on the stage with her dad, and this is how she's seeing life. This is what life is to her.
Right.
So this shows her the capabilities of what she can do.
Mm-hmm.
So by us, like we're just saying we don't have any kids.
No.
But we're just saying like, you know, if we have a business meeting, heck yeah, I would like, if I can, I want to bring my child because I want to see what we're talking. I want to see them hear about the mogul talk and the dollar amounts that we're throwing around. I want them to hear it, and I want them to see that because it'll put them in the position where they're not going to settle for anything less. Why? Because all their life they've known. This is what they've known. I hear.
Right.
They
exactly.
know freedom. They know financial freedom, and they know freedom of time, and the freedom to just get up and go to the Bahamas whenever we want. They know that. So that's the life that they're going to expect.
Yeah, because even we have conversations now. I have a friend at my old job, and my heart breaks for her because she just came back from maternity leave. I won't tell her whole story, but it wasn't in my head and in everybody else's head. It's not time for her to go back to work, not at all. But she has to go because according to the job, you need to come back. And that's where I'm just like, honestly, I'm like petrified. Like, that's why we're busting our butts so hard right now, because by the time we do have our first kid, which will be in a couple years, whatever, I don't want anybody to tell me when I need to come back to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't. Like, I just want to be able to just, like, have financial freedom, live my life the way I want to live it, and not have to go back on somebody else's time when I feel like I need to be bonding with my newborn child. And she texted me this whole long post, and I literally, like, all I could do was just pray for her, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, she is in such a crappy situation just because, like, her job is telling her to come back to work, and nobody's hearing her out around her to be like, okay, no, you need to stay home. And I tell Chris, I'm like, that cannot happen with me. Yeah. I will literally quit. Like, I will not go back to work.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And what was I going to say? Oh, I was going to say that it's really a balancing with us as well. So kind of our game plan is she's going to kind of work while I get it popping with on this side of it. I'll just say that because there's a lot going on this side of it, on the business side. And once I'm at a place where I can support, then we both want her to go out and do her thing. So it's going to be a balancing. So it's going to be a situation where we're both financially free. And my thing is just freedom from anyone telling us what to do. Right. And we should be able to live the life that we want and have the flexibility and creativity to create the life that we want. Exactly. As well. Yeah, definitely. So I guess I wanted to kind of go into the struggles of being an entrepreneur. From what you see, what are some of the things that maybe you see me struggle with, or that, I don't know, maybe you see that other entrepreneurs might go through? Something that you can warn them, I guess, ahead of time.
Coming from, like, the other end, like, being, like, married to someone that is an entrepreneur, the struggle is sometimes the clock does not stop when you want it to. So, like, the best way I can put it is that there's 24 hours in a day, and entrepreneurs will work that whole 24 and still feel like it's not enough.
That is huge. I can totally agree with you, because I know you're going to keep going, but okay, so I've quit. A lot of you guys don't know, but I've quit my job. It's been about 2-3 weeks now. Yes. I have more energy to work, and I feel like I work a lot longer I'm not, like, being self-employed. But like she's saying, like, I feel like there's not enough time in the day, and it could be kind of frustrating.
Yeah, as, like, your wife, I'm just like, okay, like, it's time to start winding down. Like, okay, like, let's move on. Like, work time is over, because I strongly feel like you guys, like entrepreneurs, still need a work schedule. Like you guys need your time to clock in and your time to clock out to just maintain a healthy life.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Because sometimes you guys will overwork yourself and you guys will find yourself in, I've seen, not with you, well, yeah, with you, in states of like depression.
Talk about it, yeah.
Like poor health.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's
really
just like, that's the like that's something that I want to say, is that there's 24 hours in a day, and still maintain a schedule. Don't work yourself all day, because it's just gonna lead to a mental breakdown. The other week I was like, I always check up on Chris, like mentally. I'm just like, how are you doing? Like, tell me how you're doing, because I'm at work most of the day, and then we'll have full days together Saturday and Sunday. So anything can happen in that time, and I really won't know, because I come home at like almost 7:00, and by that time it's time to wind down and call it a night. So I like check up on him, and I'm like, hey, how are you feeling, like mentally? Like, what's going on? And he was like, I've been having anxiety. And I'm like, well, why haven't you told me? And he's like, I've just been dealing with it on my own. And I told him, I'm like, you don't have to deal with it on your own. I'm like, I'm here to help you out. And if you're having anxiety, let's sit down and talk about it. I just feel like sometimes entrepreneurs get so like worked up on like, this is my grind, this is my hustle, like I'm gonna make it, like I have to do all of this on my own, when you can like lean on people to help you out. Like it's okay like to be like, you know what, I'm not doing good this week, and like let somebody know, like so you can have someone to lean on, because like you will feel like you're in it on your own, because you're the only one that's going out there making those calls, talking to clients, trying to get clients, but like really you have like a whole support team behind you.
Yeah, that's big time right there. So one of the struggles that I've been dealing with lately, it's not a huge struggle, it's just more of a mindset thing, is when you are an entrepreneur and you're self-employed, you have your own business, no one wants to hear I tried.
Oh yeah. That's a big thing in our house.
No one okay, so I'll just break it down to you guys. It was about probably a month ago, or maybe, no, it wasn't a month ago, like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was
like
recent.
2 weeks ago,
yeah.
Literally. So she comes in, I'm going to tell you how she comes in. She comes into the living room, she's like, so what's up? Like, what you been doing?
Oh, yeah.
You like, what you been doing? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, okay, you've been basically meeting new people and like learning a whole lot, but what have you been doing? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, damn, like what have I been doing? Like what I'm trying to say is like she's saying where's the money at?
Literally, that's
she's
what
like,
I said.
Where's the bag at? You're not like, okay, that's cool, you learning and everything, but like that's cool that you're making this many calls a day. And
yeah, I was just like, oh, it's cool. Like you're meeting all these people, like you're having fun, like you're learning, you're going to these like sessions, like that is so cool. Like, but my real concern is where's the bag at?
Yeah. And I was just like, she called me out, and in a relationship, and especially in my relationship, I need that.
Yes.
I definitely need that, and she does it at the correct time. I always say women see things that men do not see.
Almost definitely. And you have to, like you said, you have to do it at the right time, and you have to come in a loving space.
Yeah. Because
I didn't come at you like super sideways and like flat out say like, how much money do you have in your bank account? It definitely was not like
stern.
that. I was coming out of a very loving place, and that comes with sternness, and that comes with having a backbone, and like, you know what, we're on this journey together. We want a family. We want financial freedom. I understand you're wrapped up in this, but let me unwrap you for a second and let you know, like, from outside looking in, what's really happening.
Yeah, and so long story short, she called me out. And she's like, basically, you haven't got any new clients, so, like, what's up? And I'm like, somebody can take it one or the other way. They can get depressed and just give up.
Right.
Or, I don't want to brag, but they can do what I did. And
you got to the bag.
I think I damn near got a client within, like, 2-3 days.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I got to do something.
He was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, bro, like, for real. Like, I had got a client within, like, 2-3 days, and usually it takes me like a week or two to get a new client on average. But yeah, that's like the biggest thing. Like, and you have to, and it's true, because when you have kids and you have a family, your kids are not gonna want to hear you saying like, "Oh, I'm sorry, little Jimmy. Like, I tried to get some money. I tried to make some money today.
I tried to get you a Happy Meal.
I tried." You can't eat today. No, they don't want to hear that. Like, if you don't go out and hunt, your family will not eat.
Right.
You know, if you don't go out and kill, not literally kill, but get that, you know, go ahead and get that food and bring it to your table, then they're not going to eat. And that's literally the mentality I wake up with every single day. Like, bro, I have to hunt and I have to go out and get it. Like, I have to. Yeah, big time. So I think that was pretty cool. That was pretty good. Something that I wanted to touch on briefly real quick, that in our first podcast we did, by the way, if you guys haven't heard our first podcast, I don't know
go listen
to it. I think it's episode number 5 or 6. It's titled "Are You Cheating on Me?" It's a funny podcast. It kind of goes into like how we met and, you know, how our relationship is. But one of the questions we got on that podcast was about trust, and we didn't get to answer it, so we kind of want to double back and answer it. And just kind of, I guess, have a conversation about the word trust on this podcast. So
I think because we didn't answer it last time because we were running out of time.
Yeah.
But
you can go ahead and go.
Okay, I will start.
What I have on my end, by the way, is like I just have 3 steps to build better trust. Basically, 3 tips. Yeah.
Okay.
So you go ahead and go, and I'll chime in.
Okay. So trust, that's a huge thing. For us, it's like we built a foundation of trust very early on. We are very real with each other, sometimes too real for the stage that we were at. And we're very open with each other. And I think that comes like, that's kind of like a trade-off. Like for me, like I feel like trust and openness is like the same. It's like equal, because if I'm open with you, then I can come to you and tell you whatever I want to tell you. And I won't feel judged, or I won't feel like I can't tell you anything. And trust is like all within that. Yeah,
and I just not to cut you off, like for me, there's some times where I'll tell you things that I don't even necessarily, I think I've said this before, I don't think I necessarily need to tell you.
Right.
I just feel like I have to tell you literally everything. Like, for example, it's kind of funny, but some days, you know, I'm running around, I might just go grab Chick-fil-A without her.
Yeah.
And she don't like that, but like, and I can just like easily be like, just throw away the receipt, just throw everything out and just call it a day. But no, I still be like, yo, I got Chick-fil-A without you. I'll hear it, but it's like, I just feel like I still have to tell you.
Yeah, because you don't want me catching Chick-fil-A sauce on your bread.
No, literally. And it's just like, from those little things, I just feel the need to have to tell her everything and be open with her.
Yeah, so this is how open and how much we trust each other. We don't have each other's location. And that's never, and it's never been an issue. Never. Like I like, and for some, like I always know where he's at, and it's never like, where are you at, what are you doing, like I don't know what you're doing, like what's
who you with.
Exactly. We always know where each other is at because we have an open communication with each other. Like I call him on my lunch and I basically know like where he's at. Like, or I'll call him like when I get off of work, I basically know where he's at. Like it was never an issue. And some people are like, oh my gosh, like how do you not have your husband's location? I'm like, it was never like a big thing. It was never like, oh, you did something and now I kind of have to keep tabs on you.
Yeah, so I mean, you basically hit all 3 of my points in a nutshell. I'll just go ahead and say them. So my first point, like how to build better trust with your significant other, or even if you're in a relationship or even a business relationship, you can you can apply these 3 things to damn near every single relationship you're in. So the first one I have is communicate.
Literally.
Communicate is like the first thing on there. That's something we do extremely well. Like we're always, and we're not always texting and calling each other because it's just, we need to know where they're at, but we're just communicating with each other what's going on throughout the day. The second thing is say what you're gonna do and then do it.
Right. Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So like doing what you say you're going to do. So if I say I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be there. I'm not gonna be switching up because if you get caught lying, that's gonna hinder the trust.
And I would remember if I caught you lying about something. We've never caught each other like slipping about something. Like that's never been an issue. Like I always know where he's at. He always knows where I'm at. I stay true to my word. He stays true to his word. And I think it's because like one, we value each other, our relationship very much, and two, we respect each other as individuals first.
Got you. That makes sense.
So like I respect him as just Christopher, not my husband, not my best friend. I just respect Christopher as a being. He respects me, Morgan Michelle, just as me. I know like that if something was to happen, like the respect is still there. So that's why I think like we're always like where we're at, because I don't want to upset you and you don't want to upset me.
Hell no. Don't want to do that. So yeah, the first one is communicate. The second one is doing what you say you're gonna do, and the third one I have is being honest with each other. And you spoke about that earlier a little bit, but like we've been saying, like just keeping it real with each other. Why? There's no need to lie. Like we're adults at this time, and if you, man, look, just don't lie.
Literally, yeah. The whole lying thing, like, what's the point? It's just gonna cause more trouble and more issues. That's why when I eat hot Cheetos, I tell him, because what's the point? I'm gonna come home with red fingers.
And the reason why we bring up like food and all that is because like that's what. Yeah, I be getting ticked off when she be eating all them hot Cheetos.
I love hot Cheetos, you guys. Like, if you guys ever see me, I say it's okay to give me hot Cheetos, but my husband will tell you it's not okay to give me no hot Cheetos, but I will be willing to eat them. He cannot stand them. He thinks they're absolutely disgusting. So, like, when I eat them, I'll just be like, yeah, I have hot Cheetos today. And when I come home, I got the matching red fingers. Like, so, like, it's not like I'm, like, trying to hurry up and go to the bathroom and scrub my hands off. Like, no, I already let you know. Like, I know you don't like it, but I'm going to let you know. So that's the thing. Even if you know your partner is not going to like what you're going to tell them, you need to tell them anyways, because it's one thing to tell a lie. It's a whole nother ballgame to keep up the dang lie. And for me, I have a guilty conscience, so I will not be able to sleep if I lie to him. I will literally be tossing and turning if I lie. Like when I was in high school, like, and I like told like a white lie to my parents, I would be like up all night, like, oh my gosh, like, here we go. Now I gotta keep up with this and this and this and that. Like there's no point.
Too much. So, yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for today's podcast. You did hear us throwing around. Should we just tell them like what else we did? Okay, so
that's fine.
You heard us throwing around wife and husband a lot, and literally we didn't tell anybody.
We really didn't.
Shout out to my podcast people. If you guys are listening, you guys are hearing this first. Exclusive news that we are officially married.
Yes, we are married. My name is no longer my last name. It's real now. It's real. It's
And
very real.
I was gonna say, like I said, we kept it very. Oh my goodness, the neighbors are banging their doors like crazy and yelling. But like I was gonna say, we kept it really low key. We literally maybe told 20 people in total.
No, not even that.
I'm saying even the people that came.
No, I know, but I'm saying the people that came plus the people we told. I don't think it was 20 people.
Yeah, well, we had family.
Oh my gosh, sorry guys.
We had a small, like, just what do you call it? Ceremony?
Yeah.
We had a small ceremony, and
very small.
We kept it small, intimate, and just invited to the inner family, and we had a phenomenal time. It turned out really good. The reason why we called it audible on having a big wedding to having a small wedding is because when we were looking at those numbers,
It was not adding up. It was not.
No. It was definitely adding up. It was definitely adding up.
It was adding up too quick.
Yeah.
It was like.
It was
no.
Stupid. It was stupid, bro. Like.
Like if you have the money to do a wedding, by all means, do it. But like if you don't, do not put yourself in a hole to do it.
Yeah.
It like, oh my God, it was literally adding up beyond belief. We had a budget. That budget was like boom. Like first meeting we had with like a venue, boom. It was already gone. Like we were like, oh, okay. Like so, and that like when I say that wasn't including my dress, his tux, decorations,
nothing.
Like it just was like food and venue and chairs.
Yeah.
Like that was it. And I was just like, oh my gosh. I was like, okay, well, maybe we can still kind of work it out. And then it just kept adding up. And we were just like, we gotta go back to the drawing board on this thing right here. Because nobody wants to start their life in debt. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. And yeah, like I said, we have no regrets. We had an amazing time, and we kept it small, intimate. If we didn't tell you, sorry. We just wanted to. It's kind of like, if you know type of thing. Eventually, we're going to start telling more people, as you know. But, yeah, we're officially married.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, the biggest learning lesson that I've learned, like, these past couple months is, I guess this is my takeaway for you guys, is not to force things. If you feel like you have to force something, like, force your way. So, we were, how do I say this? We were going to live in a different city.
Yes.
We're trying so hard to live in that city, but we felt like we were forcing our way into it. And God was basically telling us, like, no, you need to be in this city. With the whole marriage thing, we were trying to force our way to, like, seeing if we can get this fancy marriage done and all that. And it was like, no, we're forcing this. Let's just go this way. So for me, especially recently in my life and all the decisions that I made in my life, if I had to force myself into it, it wasn't meant to be, and it's not where I was supposed to be at. Yeah. So
I read, not to cut you off,
go ahead, go.
I read a tweet, and it said, if it works out, that's God's direction. If it doesn't work out, if it's being forced, then it's God's correction. I was like, wow. I was like, I like that. Because that's, if it's not working out, he's pushing you back. He's correcting you where you need to go. Like, no. You need to go back over here.
Yeah.
Stay in line. I got something for you. Quit going over here. Let me correct you and go back, because I got a direction for you that's going to be way better than what you were expecting.
Yeah, I was going to ask you to leave a nugget. But
that was my nugget.
You go ahead and repeat it and let them know again. And we're going to go ahead and close it out on that note.
So.
Go ahead.
If it goes through, if your plan goes through, it's God's direction. If it's being forced and it's not working out, it's God's correction. That's
deep. Bow. Leave a rating and review.
Yes.
Share it with one friend that needs to hear it. Man, I would sincerely appreciate it. And, man, I'll catch you guys next week on Monday. Thank God it's Monday.
Bye, guys.
That's right. I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder